Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to Mental Men.
Welcome all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going off the heat of episode 10, right?
Oh,
The
yeah.
momentum.
Feel the
Baby.
fire, baby.
Yeah. So, how's everything been lately?
Pretty good, Kids and stuff.
Kids?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this weather is driving me nuts. I just want it to be nice so we can play outside more.
I thought it was already finished and that we had entered spring, but
It's
no,
March.
there's always one punishment.
Final punishment.
Yeah. Like the final boss. It's like you think you're done, and then there's some new enemy that pops up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how have you been lately?
Yeah, I've been good. I went to San Francisco and came back last weekend.
Sweet.
So that was fun, getting to see the state of the game industry and how everyone's just worried as hell. So that was good to see.
Oh, why? They're worried about losing their jobs, kind of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely a stage where, AI is coming and, there's less and less games now, and it's harder to find these jobs, like especially for entry level people.
I guess the problem too is AI could probably create some like crazy open world game and do it in like so fast.
Yeah.
And once it does it once, that's basically it.
Yeah, that's why all these like junior level positions are starting to just fade away. Like, so how the hell do all these new students,
Yeah.
like these graduates, they're all so worried. And I met like a lot of them.
Yeah.
And they're like showing me their portfolio, like different artists or composer or something. It's like, and they're hopeful, like,
Yeah.
but at the same time, they know it's a difficult path, right?
Yeah.
I attended like a few talks during the whole week, and the best one was the last one in the whole GDC, which was about how to find a job in indie games. And that was like there was like 5 panelists in the game industry, and one of them runs like a job website. And that one was the most insightful one because there was no bullshit. They were just like really honest about, the hiring process and stuff.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, for some like game writing jobs, we get like 1,500 applicants and, we have to choose one. So, and they give like different roles that they get so many applicants for, and then what do they need?
Yeah.
And so just the whole process now is changed a lot in the sense that they want to see your personality more than your resume. It's like that's starting to become more and more important. Like,
Oh, yeah.
who are you? What are your values? And like they want to really understand the way your mind works and how you can break down a game and like how you can build one and like what is how do you see things, rather than, okay, you've done this year, that kind of. So it's a huge shift in the way that people think and find jobs and stuff. So that was really good because the peak of the games, found on this one website that this guy owns is like 2022. That was the peak, and then 2023 it was like half the amount of that.
Yeah.
So in 2022, there's 1,400 jobs found, and then 2023 there's 700, and 2024 was like just a few hundred, but like more traffic on the website. So it's like you have more and more people looking for less and less jobs.
Yeah.
So on the adverse of that, it's like you meet a lot of people who they're just starting a studio, because now you can do that with like a small team, right? Mm-hmm. Like a team of less than 10 now, you can make your own game pretty good. So there was a lot of people like that, like, oh, I just met this guy yesterday and we're thinking of doing this thing. So there's a lot of like creativity at the same time. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there's just so many problems with that industry because, they can't raise the price of games anymore. It's already reached like a benchmark, right? Like 80, 90, $120 for
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
It's insane, right? So they had to start cutting from the studio directly, right? Just as a way to cover costs.
Yeah.
But then that kind of, entrenched them as well. So it's like the whole industry is just fluctuating right now. And I was telling Brandon, Ubisoft, which is like Canada's big gaming company, they did Assassin's Creed and Far Cry and all. They got taken certain percentage, I think, was from Tencent. So like Tencent now like basically owns Ubisoft, like China now.
Oh yeah.
So that happened like 2 days after GDC finished. So that was like a huge rumble through the industry.
Yeah.
Like, okay, now China is a huge player in the field of gaming. So yeah, I don't know. It was just like crushing at certain points, and then but like leaving with a sense of optimism that things hopefully can get better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a good time. It was the first time I stayed at a youth hostel the first night
Okay.
because I'm on a budget, and I booked like for 5 nights at a youth hostel. I lasted 1 night.
Why?
Well, I mean, you're literally in a room with 5 other guys, and you can hear every single like creak on the bed, and like the first night I slept like 2 hours, so I woke up halfway through, and the window was open. Someone had opened, and it was freezing cold, and they give you this little thin blanket, and so I closed the window, and then like I don't know, half an hour later they were both open again. And it was just freezing cold. And I was just like, I'm too old for this shit. So I booked like a cheap ass, like.
You sound like an old man. Don't mess with the thermometer.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't mess with the.
Yeah, I'm too old for this
Don't
shit.
mess with the temperature.
So I booked like a little, I don't know what you call it, a halfway house or something.
Okay.
Yeah. So I spent like Tuesday walking from one youth hostel to a halfway house in Chinatown. So that was good though. I got to explore Chinatown a lot
Oh yeah.
and eat some good Chinese food, which I forgot existed. But
Yeah, I'm sure they have really good Chinese food in San
they
Francisco.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was fun. I just walk around and stuff. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. It's good. But
All right.
All right, yeah.
So
Moving
on to
on.
the actual topic of today's show.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the Netflix show Adolescents.
Yes.
It's kind of a big thing right now, and we all watched it. And
Yes.
I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah, I was telling Brandon I love the style of filmmaking, like the whole.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like that's pretty hard to do, right? Like,
Oh yeah, the single shot.
Yeah.
I like when in episode 2 when they like take off from the school and go over to where the girl died.
Yeah.
All in one shot. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's
or
impressive.
some of the chase scenes. Like, there's this chase. I think it was episode 3. 2. Yeah,
Oh.
there's a chase scene at.
Yeah, that was okay. You could tell they weren't running as fast. They weren't running very fast, but yeah.
Yeah, but
There,
still
there's
technically-
spoilers in this.
Yeah.
Oh
definitely.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. If
Forgot
you
we gotta
watched
do that.
it,
if you haven't watched it, don't. Yeah.
Go
if
watch
our 9
Adolescents.
people.
Yeah, for our 9 people. Is it 9 now? We're up 1.
Yeah. Did you see we got a comment on our video last
I
video?
didn't. I'm gonna look it up right now.
I thought it was Caitlin or something, but I was gonna ask you, is that Caitlin? Because that's a real person leaving a real comment.
No, that's one of the bots I paid for.
It's a Russian bot. Yeah. Yeah, you guys are terrible. You're like, oh, what am I paying for?
Yeah, it said you guys are doing good. That's what the comment said. Yeah, and we haven't promoted this at all. So.
Soon.
Yeah. So yeah, back to Adolescence. So, what? Any topics that like resonated with you? Like,
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the whole point of the show was
Yeah.
like kind of like getting red pilled and all that. I do wonder sometimes, like obviously the show, I think it had undertones of it, because like the dad had a crazy temper.
yeah.
And the whole time it's sort of like, especially in like the 4th episode, the women are seen as like they're not like fully developed characters sometimes, and they're just like trying to calm the dad down. That's like their whole role in the
mean
show.
the
is
mom
like,
and the daughter.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, you can definitely see the lineage because the dad does mention that like he was beat up, right? Like by his dad. So you can see that like dripping of because I think it was, what was it, episode 3 where Jamie is being interrogated, right?
Yeah, the therapy session.
Yeah, and then after he's just like goes into that like insane rage, right?
Yeah, and then he comes out of it like really quick, and it's
Yeah.
like he doesn't. The disconnect's there,
Exactly.
where he's disconnected from his rage almost. It's
Yeah.
like two different people. Yeah.
And I like that scene. He's like banging on the window. It's almost like he's in a zoo, almost of like his emotions, right? Yeah.
And he's like screaming like, well, do you like me?
Yeah.
You know, like all he wants is just to be liked. And so he'll go down any avenue that possibly
Yeah.
And I think
takes to get people to like him.
I think it's mainly liked from the opposite sex.
Pardon me?
I think it's mainly liked from the opposite sex. He wants
Yeah.
women to like him, and
Yeah.
because I think he even asks her like, "Do you think I'm attractive or something?"
Yeah.
And it's like,
He keeps
and
sending out,
she's kind of like that's weird. Like I can't answer that question, right? Like that's, and she's like, you have to know why I can't answer that question.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it's like constantly because he's I think he says, I forget which episode it is, but he says like, nobody thinks I'm good looking. He's like, everybody think, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's that whole
It's like
that 80-20 rule. It's the first time I heard about that. Is in the show.
I've heard that.
It's the first time
I
heard
feel
about
like I've heard that before, but
It's
I
called
don't.
the Pareto principle.
it. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The what principle?
Pareto.
Where does that come from?
It comes from like business where you do like you dedicate 80% of your time to 20% most important work.
Okay.
And it's like it's what I teach in screenwriting too.
Oh, okay.
Like deliver 80% of audience expectation and then 20% your own twist. So I think it's like becoming more and more known, I think. Yeah, because it was like a hidden thing for a while, but anyway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's funny that it's like used in business or writing and all these things.
Yeah.
But the red pillars took it over, and they're like, "Well, actually, you
Yeah.
see, this is how
Everyone
women
uses
think
it
also." And it's just like, I don't think I've ever met a man that if they tried and weren't weird and creepy, that they couldn't get a woman. Like, it's just not true. It's
What do you mean? Expand on that.
because it's not true that like 80% of women are only attracted to 20%
Oh, I
of men.
see.
And it's the opposite way too. Like guys are
think-
into absolutely everything.
I think they got that number from Tinder, didn't they? Like,
Oh yeah, but I think that's a terrible microcosm because it's
It
like, well,
is.
not everybody's on Twitter or on Tinder. Sorry.
yeah. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, because like guys, we talked about this before. Guys just swipe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think females more. They're gonna look at the profiles. They're gonna swipe on the ones that they're actually into.
Yeah.
The ones that match their interests. Where guys are just, let's see what hits.
And I'm sure it matters. There's probably all kinds of algorithms, like how long you've been on it for and that kind of a thing. Because
Yeah.
at first you're probably just like going for the hot ones, but then after a while you're like, okay, well, it's like who's somebody who I might actually connect with, you
Yeah.
know? Or I guess it depends what you want.
Yeah, exactly. It's tough to gauge as well. It's like, okay, if you do want a relationship, how do you actually know that this person is for you through a profile?
Yeah.
It's like what we were talking about before. There's no energy exchange. It's like you can think that that's 100% your soulmate, and then you meet them in person. You're like, oh shit,
Yeah.
this person's a dumbass or something. Like,
Or like they wear a weird perfume or deodorant or something.
Yeah.
You're like, I can't stand that smell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so I think,
Like how realistic it is that like 13-year-olds are going through this.
yeah,
The fact that it's in school now is like these concepts are coming in.
yeah,
Where it's like they're worried about, oh, this girl, like, do all these girls think I'm attractive and stuff. Like when I was like going to school, you wanted to date girls, but I wasn't like, oh, like, none of them find me attractive or anything. Like I don't know, it's a weird thing to think of. The Tinder world's going to
yeah,
schools.
Yeah.
You know?
Are you worried about that?
Oh yeah, big time. And then
Yeah.
like the whole, he talks about the girl sharing a picture of herself, topless with like a friend, and then all the kids got it. You worry about shit like that.
Yeah,
You worry about Instagram and likes and comments, and it's like a big bullying thing.
It is.
Instagram is, and
Yeah.
even with like your friends, I've heard of things like if you make a post and your friend doesn't like it, it's like them basically telling you to go fuck yourself kind of a thing. It's just
Yeah.
like, that's insane.
That's what I liked about the show was all the code words, like from the emojis and stuff.
Oh, it's like the purple heart
The
means
hearts?
you're horny.
Yeah.
And I was like,
is that real?
I'm like, I got to make sure I got to send my wife the right color hearts now. Like,
Yeah, I like the dad like teaches the cop like, okay, you send mom like the red heart, but the purple heart means
the
this.
sun. Yeah.
It's like the cop doesn't know anything about that
yeah,
world.
because he was like, oh, I'm glad I always send her red hearts.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that was a thing.
It's like we as the audience, we don't really know this subculture, how it functions, right? But this kid is...
Well, maybe people that age who watch
I
it.
bet you, that's probably a thing.
But us...
Yeah. Well, I, like as old men.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, what's this? A cell phone?
Yeah.
But like, I like the descriptions of those emojis and stuff.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to know more.
Yeah.
I was like, just for my knowledge,
Yeah.
I wanted to be like,
Tell me all of them.
Please
Let's go
tell me
through.
all of them.
Yeah.
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 It's funny though. I've always thought that like communicating in emojis is like the stupidest. It's like the lowest common denominator. It's
Yeah.
like I can't possibly use real language. So here's a picture of a smiley face or crying. I'm laughing so hard I'm crying. It's just like, oh my god. It's like when we used to be chatting online and people would say like raffle mayo and stuff, and I hated that one because like you're rolling on the floor. Like this is so stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's how it started, right? It was like LOL and
Yeah.
all those stuff, or WTF, and then now it's funny how it's progressed as time goes by to
Yeah,
the next
sadly,
generation.
our generation started it.
Yeah, we
like
did.
that's the sad part is we started all that
Yeah.
crap. But yeah. it's
Oh, I
awful.
think they don't touch on it on the show too, but it's kind of like how the dad talks about like he was looking for gym stuff, and he saw like
and
an
then the
Andrew Tate
algorithm,
video and that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like if you trace it back further and further and further, it's kind of like when we were gaming when we were kids, and when it first like went online, and people couldn't wait to be horrible to you. And it's almost like progressed from that it's almost like you get online now and some people are just like don't care about anything but trolling and just being like horrible in whatever sense that means.
I think that's most of the internet.
It's-
It's
I know, but
just
it just
trolling,
doesn't, yeah.
and just wanting to see people fail. I think that's mostly what it's about.
Yeah.
So I
either
think,
wanting to see people fail or hating on people that succeed,
yeah.
right? And that's the weird thing. It's like
Foundation.
yeah. And it's because you can hide behind the screen.
Exactly.
Nobody
yeah.
can see. 90% of people won't say it to your face.
I mean, they've done studies where that has allowed like psychopathy, like psychopaths to like spread. Is that kind of you're hiding behind the profile and you don't see the consequences to your actions, right?
Yeah.
And there's no feedback loop for that. You don't get to see like what that person's reaction is when they're hurt, right? Because that's how we learn, right? And
Yeah, that's a good point,
We
yeah.
don't see that, and then we just say, we got away with it. Those fuckers, we'll take them down, burn in hell, whatever. And also, it's just like, I mean, sometimes I know someone who will post thinking that their whatever comment that they have, it'll matter, but it doesn't. It just doesn't matter anymore.
And even the guys who troll, like, because, I mean, I'll admit, I've made some comments in the past on videos that I think are really stupid.
No.
And I'll comment on them.
Tell it.
I've told it to you before. But anyway, it's a weird concept where it's like, I made this comment, and it's like, I'll get notifications like, these people are liking your comment.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so the trolls are really just doing it to see likes on their comments. Like it's all about likes, no matter if you're a troll or if you're. So it's all stupid. It's all so stupid.
Yeah, it's like they think the algorithm works a certain way,
Yeah.
so they will hire whatever AI bot and stuff to like comment, and then that sparks the algorithm more and more, and it's like
Have you ever watched like an Andrew Tate video?
I've seen interviews with him. Yeah.
Oh yeah? What
Yeah.
do you think about him?
I think because I saw his rise and his fall, right?
Was he a fighter? Or
He was a
something?
fighter first.
And I
Okay.
think he on a reality
Yeah,
show?
he was on a reality show in
Like
Holland.
Love
or
Island in UK or something?
There's something Big Brother.
Oh, it was a Big Brother?
yeah.
Okay.
I get the reality show with him and Tommy Fury. He was on one too.
Yeah.
But Andrew Tate was on one.
So I always see these people on the internet as characters first.
Okay.
Because they're
Well,
not.
yeah, he's definitely playing a character. I mean, he's a horrible one, but yeah.
Yeah. But he found a way to hack the whole internet, like that way of doing
Actually,
it.
maybe he's not so much playing a character. Didn't he get charged with sex trafficking?
He got charged, but not like
But now there's a video.
he got released.
Isn't there a video that just came out of like
was-
him like hitting a 13 or 14-year-old or something?
Well, who hasn't done that?
That seems like a character for him.
Yeah.
But I saw so he started Hustlers University, right?
Okay, whatever that is.
It's a scam. It's a pyramid scheme, and essentially you pay in to take his course, right? There's different levels to his
This
course.
guy's like all kinds of levels of piece of shit. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Anyways,
you can have like the basic course, or you can spend like $5,000 a month to go into his exclusive group where, you can all kind of get onto the scam together, right?
Okay.
So the Hustlers University, essentially what it's all about is like, okay, if you take clips of me and then reclip those, you can start your own YouTube channel.
Oh,
So that's how he
Jesus.
got-
Oh, that's how it got so big.
Exactly.
Oh.
He found a way to hack the algorithm by promising people. That's how he spread his message.
Is that how Aiden Ross got big too?
I
'Cause I know
think-
Aiden Ross and him.
Aiden Ross is old school streamer.
Yeah, but he's also connected to Andrew Tate.
He way before.
Oh, it was before. Oh, okay,
yeah,
I see.
because they go. There's this house in LA in like the early, I want to say 2013 to 2015 or something, that had all these influencers staying
Aiden
there.
Ross is only like,
Aiden Ross was there.
what was he, like 10?
He was
So
like
young.
16.
Oh,
He got
okay.
big when he was 16.
Oh, so,
So he staying at that house was the Nelk Boys as well.
Okay. So now I need to look up the Milk Boys.
Nelk.
Oh.
Oh, I watch all the time. So I like awful shit. I'm not judging anyone. So yeah, there's all these like that's how he got big, right?
Oh yeah.
So then, of course, his past gets exposed, and he's doing all this like cam business with all these women, right? And that's where the shady shit went down. Because
Cam business?
he started a cam business in
Like
Romania
webcams.
before all this stuff.
Oh.
So that's where the allegations come from. It's like he was like doing shit with them, right? Like,
Oh, okay.
but he knew he was never charged, whatever, but he's still a huge douchebag, of course, right? So he had to stay in Romania for like under house arrest for like 2 years or something,
Yeah.
and then got charged again, whatever, and then they kicked him out of Romania, and he had to come back to the U.S.
Why do you think that his message gets, like, obviously, like you said, he hacked the internet and it was everywhere.
It's
but
the
why?
opposite of woke. It's like the people that got sick of the woke culture, they resonated with his messaging.
I guess so, but there's a difference because it's so much like about like holding women down and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, why do you think that like a lot of men
He
grasped onto it so hard? They're like, oh yeah, it's actually the women's fault that I'm miserable.
Yeah, he has some very extreme views about women, and I'm not defending any of those. I just watch from a
thank God.
distance, right? Like I don't even know what his thing is, to be honest. Like even after watching 5 or 6 interviews with him, I still don't know what his thing is, to be honest, because he also flip-flops a lot. Like he has a Muslim period now, that he became Muslim like 2 years ago.
Okay.
So his whole philosophy kind of switched after
So he's
that.
just a shapeshifter. He's just chasing fame no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, whatever gets him those likes, right? And so now he says, he abides by Sharia law and all this.
Which is even worse. What?
But that's his thing now. So again, I don't know, as people grow, they change their perspectives too, right? So,
Well, it doesn't sound like he's growing very much.
well, you can grow in the negative way too.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's like a grown man. I don't know. I always thought you got maybe more intelligence. I guess not.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of toxic men out there still.
I mean, obviously, yeah. I just
Yeah.
meant more like if, for me anyways, the older I get, I feel like I gain a lot more perspective.
Yeah.
But I guess,
I think his thing at the beginning was more like men got soft and, like 70% of the graduates from university are women, and yet men have all these expectations to take care of them. And so how is that? It's like a losing game for men. So I think that was his thing. And that's what, like, people are like, yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
So that's, but it was a scam, the whole thing. It was Hustlers
Yeah.
University. It was just a fucking scam, right? So it's all those people out there who posit the same thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because it's kind of like the whole men have gone soft thing is exactly like in Adolescence, what like drives this kid insane. And it's kind of like, but the softness, the empathy in that would have saved you, but you couldn't get past the rage, I guess.
Yeah. That's the hard part, right? Is
Yeah.
that all men have that rage, right? That,
Not like that.
well, I think as a kid, I don't know for me.
But that's the whole thing, is that you shouldn't. Like, it should be more ingrained in you, like from when you're a little kid.
Yeah.
That rage gets you nothing, and then it would, everybody gets mad, but you wouldn't lose it.
Yeah.
Because you would have coping mechanisms in place.
But I don't think I was taught that.
No, I wasn't either. I'm just
Yeah.
saying that's, yeah.
We learned that a little later, but I think as, the generations shift, that will be taught
Yeah,
earlier.
I was hoping that, but it seems like a lot of young men now are really terrible. Like the 18-year-olds now, that kind of thing.
What?
Just
I'm
the
out of the
online
loop.
stuff, doesn't it seem like they like heavily vote like conservative specifically for certain reasons, not like to change the world or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the online world is like you can find any belief and then feel
for
like
sure you can, yeah.
everyone is doing that somehow. Like you can just get caught up in all those videos that confirm your worldview.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, sorry. you were
They
saying-
kind of pointed out in Adolescence, like how they go through with Instagram.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you liked all these Instagram models.
Yeah.
And people like Andrew Tate
Yeah.
and stuff, it's like they're promoting all of this Instagram porn essentially, right?
Yeah.
So like a young boy, 18-year-olds, of course you're going to go on Instagram. Oh, look at this girl. You start following them and the algorithm hits you. Oh, here's Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
And then
Here's Fresh and
then-
Fit, yeah.
Yeah, here's
Yeah.
all this stuff. And then Andrew Tate. And then it's like, oh, here's Aiden Ross. Here's the Nelk Boys who
Yeah.
are mega Trump supporters.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, now here's Steven Crowder, who's I don't know if you-
God.
yeah, he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, you like Steven Crowder? Here's Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's all this conservative shit. So it
Yeah.
all starts at the bottom. And
Yeah.
18-year-olds,
And it's almost like on LinkedIn, it's like you have first connection, second connection. Like they try and get you to that core first connection. Like,
Yeah.
And then they'll try and like, okay, how about you go further? And it's all about like teasing you a little bit
Yeah.
so that you watch something and you get addicted to that too.
it's
So,
like even like me now, it's like on my Instagram, it's like, oh, that's a good looking model. And it's like, I'll kind of look at a fewer pictures and it's like, well, now why am I seeing this stuff? I don't want any of this stuff.
Or
Like,
then you hit like search in Instagram and it's all like bikinis. So
Exactly.
you're like,
Because
okay,
you
now
look
I have
at
to
what-
I have to clear my freaking algorithm
Yeah.
again. It's like, because I want to see other things.
Yeah. I
Like, I
want to see
don't want to
cat
see
videos.
this.
I want to see cat videos. Like,
that I think is the more pressing issue is that part of the algorithm.
Oh yeah, big time. It's just like, and so much of it is like AI,
Yeah.
or it's like a celebrity that you've seen before, but now her boobs are twice as big,
Yeah.
and it's just like, It's just fucking crazy what's out there. Like, it's
is.
crazy.
It's insane.
And then it's things like like the male loneliness epidemic. I think that starts because from like a young age, you're told you can't talk about your feelings. So then when you're a teenager and stuff, when you really need to start talking about your feelings, and then all your friends are red pilled and shit. So then you get to be like 18 and you and your friends aren't very close because honestly, if you can't talk about your feelings with your friends, like you're never going to get that close. It's just never going to happen.
Yeah.
Like you'll always be sort of subsurface.
Yeah.
And like the most dangerous thing in the world is freaking lonely, angry young men.
Yeah.
And I think they're specifically doing that because they want them to, be cops and in the military and all that kind of shit.
Well, like if you go back to like Sparta, like the way that they used to train their soldiers, like as a young kid, you were released like into the wild. Like you would be kidnapped from your house and then put into the wild near the Acropolis, and you would have to fight. You would grow up having to defend yourself until they were ready to put you into the Spartan army. Like,
Sounds awesome.
That was the way you were born. That was what you were born into as a kid, right? So like to go from that to like what we have, it's like what is it? The Social Dilemma, that Netflix documentary. Did you watch that? The director says like humans have primeval brains, and we have medieval institutions with godlike technology. So this kind of like three gaps in our systems are just so distant from each other. Social Dilemma, you didn't see that? Oh, it was a huge documentary about
I've heard about it, but I didn't watch
2 years
it.
ago about addiction and on social media. You guys should watch that. Yeah, that was like a life-changing documentary.
Probably too busy watching Love Is Blind.
I was too busy on TikTok. I don't have time for that.
Yeah, it's a guy from Facebook who like one of the people.
Oh, is that the guy?
Tristan Harris.
He talked about Pinterest. That guy?
No, it could be because he's like there's a co-director too.
Oh, okay.
But he like worked at Facebook as one of the first engineers. So he was like he left and then told the whole industry, this is what they're doing here. Like,
But there was like a guy who I think he worked on Pinterest, and he said he'd like go home and he'd be in like the pantry, like in the closet on his phone,
Yeah.
rather than spending time with his family. And finally it clicked for him. He's just like, this is so fucked up.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
Well, you hear about that, about guys going to the bathroom and just sitting on the toilet, just on their phones to get away from their family, just so they can be on
yeah.
Instagram or Pinterest, like whatever. It's like just to get away so they can be on their phone.
I mean, I look at my phone when I'm on the toilet,
Yeah,
but
but
I
you
don't
ju-
do it to get away.
You're doing it because you're bored on the toilet, but like you don't just go to the bathroom to get away from your family.
Yeah.
But did you do that 10 years ago?
No, but 10 years
so-
ago, it wasn't the same as it is now.
Yeah,
That's not as addicting. It wasn't
Right.
as addicting.
yeah, because now it's just all everywhere, right?
It's true, yeah.
Growing up, we didn't.
can't get
you
away
would just take a shit, right? You wouldn't. Do
You'd have
anything
magazine.
else.
There'd be a
There
magazine.
might be. Depends
I remember
whose
when,
house we were at.
when Brandon said he would like read a magazine, I was like, I'm in and out in like 2 minutes. Why would I sit there?
Yeah.
Or like one of those National Lampoon humor toilet books or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
you
Oh,
know,
the toilet.
Yeah.
Like Canadian humor. I don't know.
Right,
My aunt used to always buy
You go
that
to
for me for
somebody's
Christmas.
house,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, they have reading in here. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, and you'd find new books.
Meanwhile, those books were covered in feces.
Now our
I
phones
never
are just covered in
touched those.
feces.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the more the crucial point is the pervasiveness of being online at all times. That's
Yeah,
the
it's true.
huge
You don't,
shift.
without the human connections and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I liked at the end of episode 2, when the son tells the cop all this stuff about these emojis and stuff, and like they kind of figure it out, and then they get the one kid to admit to that it was his knife.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And he's standing there, and he sees his son. He's like, and then it like almost like it clicks. It's like, I have to spend more time with my son, like because
Yeah.
he's getting bullied. He's going through this, so
Yeah.
he's like, you know what? I'm hungry. Do you want to go get some food? I want to spend time with you.
Yeah.
Right. And I
Yeah.
think that was like that hit me pretty hard. It's like, no, this like he sees it. He doesn't want his son going down that path. How can I get in between that and change it? So,
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see how it would happen. It's kind of funny. Like, I always think I got very lucky when I grew up. And I don't know why, as I was driving here, because of the blizzard. And I was thinking about this time. It was after my house burned down, and we were living at my aunt's place, and I was working at Heritage Park. And anyways, I was like always, when I was a little kid, like the forgotten one. Like my parents would forget to pick me up from stuff, and they'd pick me up late, and the coach would be waiting like, hey, are they coming, kind of a thing. Or like they drop me off late for games, all this kind of shit. Anyway, so somebody was supposed to come pick me up after work. And I waited for like 2 hours and nobody came. And I was like, how long am I supposed to wait? Like, what if they remembered? It was just before I had a cell phone. So then I was like, screw this. So I walked to the train station, took the bus home, and, you know, it took me freaking like another hour. And then when I get home, they yell at me that, oh, they eventually had called my grandpa to come pick me up, and he waited for me. And I lost it. I just screamed at them. I was like, what the fuck was I supposed to do? And anyways, you could see, like, if the internet had been more pervasive and they'd be like, you know, how men are mistreated or some shit, maybe I could have possibly gotten sucked into that. But, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, luckily we didn't have those kinds of bubbles when we were growing up, like that you could just escape to online. Like for me, it was more just about like, you know, playing games
It
or
was all gaming, yeah.
download movies.
Or what was that chat thing we had? But that was early 20s, wasn't it?
ICQ, yeah.
Was that ICQ?
Yeah.
yeah, where you get a message. Oh,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
And there was like,
Miralibus or whatever.
and people had like MySpaces and stuff, but I wasn't really into that.
I never got into
We had
MySpace.
Encarta.
Encarta, yeah. But we never had those like pockets of like, oh, okay, I'm pissed off at the world. Now where can I escape into?
Do you think though that like our group of friends helped that too though?
Oh, big time.
Because
yeah.
like
Or what?
are like just us. Because like if I had come and I said, hey, you guys think women are stupid? I think you guys would have been like, Brandon, you're a fucking moron. And you guys, you know what I mean?
Do you guys think women are stupid? Wait.
Like you guys would have like been like, Brandon, you're a fucking moron. And we kind of beat it out of each other a little bit. But you know, like we all have the same kind of values and stuff. We kind of kept.
Yeah.
I think we kind of kept each other in check a little bit too.
That I think is what's missing is like that keeping in check of each other.
That's
Yeah.
good. Good point.
Because
Yeah.
I saw this good podcast, I don't know, a few years ago about like drinking culture in China. And it's like you never really drink alone. You always drink with the group. And you're always seeing, it's always like 1-to-1, you know, so that if we have 10 drinks, everyone has 10 drinks. And
Okay.
it's like socially kind of navigated, right? You don't go over that. You don't go under that. But there's no like checks anymore. Like, hey, bro, like I don't think you're doing so well. Like, and it's like,
But
why are you talking?
do that. We do that a little bit too. Like if we're out and it's like, I'm like, hey, Brad, are you good to drive? Like, you know what I mean? Like we'll say that, but they don't have that anymore.
I think we only do that in person.
In person,
If we don't see each other for a long time,
Yeah.
then there's like nothing.
It's only in
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
And I guess the older we get, the less we really do see each other in person.
Yeah,
right?
I wish
Yeah.
we saw each other more, honestly.
Me too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Me too.
because it's just like
Once every
I'm
2
like-
weeks, we see each other.
like one of the last times we got together and like gamed, I remember at the time thinking like, I'm so fucking bored. And I'm like, I feel like I'm bored a lot because it's the monotony of life, you know, and it's kind of like once the kids go to bed and usually then I have like 2 or 3 hours of free time to myself, but it's like, well, the kids are sleeping. So it's like, so I'm not going to clean because I don't want to make noise and I'm not going to, and sometimes I'll game, but barely any right now. And so it just leaves like sitting there and watching Netflix or some shit. And it's just like every single night. Yeah.
Well, that goes to our next episode of that. That's what I think all these devices are for, so we don't keep thinking
And
about
it's,
that.
it's funny though, like as your life changes, depending on what you're doing in life, like how your perspective and obviously all that changes. Because before I had kids, I remember also being very bored, and I don't know, but it's just like
life
if I
is
didn't
boring
if I
as
didn't
shit.
have them, I'd just be like, holy, like what am I? But the thing is that you get used to that, you know. You kind of adapt to whatever your life is. So, you know, before I was even chasing free time when I worked in like the oil patch, and I had like 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. The 2 weeks off wasn't enough free time for me, you know.
You mean you wanted more?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like constantly chasing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though I'd be bored.
Like it means I gotta get a day off or something. I'm like, oh, I can do China max. And I just sit there on my phone or like TV's on. It's like I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
Muted. Yeah, I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting there. Like I'm playing a game, and like even if I'm going to, because I game a lot. I don't if I'm in a lull of like video games, it's like okay, I'm playing my 10th game of NHL today. Like, and I kind of get lost in like the boredom.
Yeah.
Right?
I was telling Jess yesterday, I said, what if in the future, because like the last moment before you die, everything's supposed to flash back to you, right? Like you're supposed to see everything in that moment. But what if it's all just video in the future? Like you spend your whole life watching shit that the only thing that
Well, then I
comes
get
to you, I'm
get
not
to
saying you.
I get to experience for the first time again. I get to watch Game of Thrones for the first time again.
But what if in 2 generations, that's what life is? Like you don't have to go out anymore and fight the blizzard. You can just virtually experience it without the.
As much as I hate blizzards and driving, it's like I would hate that. I'd hate that world.
But would the kids of like Brad, like their kid?
But this is where I think like Brad is gonna like show his kids, no, the real world is better than the virtual world.
Do you wonder if
Like toilet books or what?
like in Adolescence, like in the 4th episode, the dad was like, you know, or the mom said she'd go knock on his door like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
and she didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I feel like that's way too much freedom.
Yeah.
But then I don't know. I can't remember at what age. You know, it was very different when we were kids because like our parents you'd just be outside. They'd have no idea what you were doing, where you were, you know, just like as long as you're home by a certain time.
Yeah.
And it kind of went that same way on weekends for me. Like me and my brother would stay up super late playing video games, but it was like Super Nintendo, you know, so it was a totally different kind of thing.
So you think that form of parenting, that some things are positive, like they kind of just let us do whatever?
It's hard. It's kind of like,
Or is there a middle
I
ground?
don't know.
or-
Yeah, I guess there's got to be a middle ground, but
There's also different.
yeah, because he's
different
online. That's the
There's
different
different
thing.
thing. Like we didn't have that. Our parents were worried about okay, they're like my parents were always like, okay, go out, make sure your back isn't turned, check in, kind of thing, because somebody could kidnap you. That was the thing. Now it's like somebody's grooming you online.
Yeah.
Like, you know, or like you're getting brainwashed online. So in that episode when she's like, oh, I knocked on his door, I didn't know what he was doing at 1 o'clock in the morning. He's 13. Open the door. See what he's doing.
It's true. Yeah.
Like,
Well, I had that. I mean, I did that. I had the computer in my room when I was 11.
yeah.
So I would just stay up sometimes and then,
Did they come and ask, like, what are you
no,
doing?
because I was just hiding.
You're
I would just say, good night.
But what was there to do on the computer when you were 11?
Yeah, it took you like 10 minutes to load
Well,
page.
okay, maybe not 11. I think we got the computer when I was 11. It probably went into my room at 13, maybe when we got the internet. So around that time, that's when I started gaming and watching a lot of movies and stuff. So that's what I would do.
But I mean, like with dial-up, it didn't seem like there was even that much online, really.
Well, we had cable at that time. Shaw cable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was faster. It wasn't dial-up. This was.
I guess I'm
after
maybe
dial-up.
messing up timelines, but yeah, I remember we got like the cable internet as soon as it came out. You know,
Yeah.
because you got to speed up that StarCraft if that's not full
yes,
speed.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That T1 shit.
Yeah,
But that's what I was doing, was just like gaming and download.
yeah.
I was downloading movies when I'm 13. Like,
That was like my first experience with like trolling. Essentially, it was StarCraft because I can't remember if it was like before or after the game. Like when the game was loading, there was like a chat at the bottom, and people would tell you to like fuck yourself and all this, and you're
Yeah.
like 13, like what?
yeah.
What did I do?
But also at that age, there was no algorithm.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There was
It's
not
true.
like, oh, he's trolling on StarCraft.
Yeah.
Here's Andrew Tate. Like, you know, like, like, you know, things are so much harder now.
There weren't even really like those personalities that dominated the internet, right?
Well, like I talked to my dad recently. It's like, when did it all change? When like being a conservative and being a Democrat or a liberal, like
yeah.
we could all respect each other. Like it's like, okay, we have different beliefs in certain things, but now it's like, oh, you're a conservative, you're a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a liberal, you're a woke piece of garbage.
Yeah.
Now it's all just there's so much hate.
I think
Yeah.
it started more because there's just like more connectivity and more like, for instance, and more bad stuff keeps coming out, and there's more, you know, there's these whistleblowers and stuff, you know, because people liked, for instance, George Bush Jr. and he was like horrible, and the Iraq War was a farce, and they killed 1 million people.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, I don't know, maybe that's a really bad thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
and
people forget too.
exactly,
right?
but and then after that, obviously with like Obama and all the racism, and I think that's kind of when it really started to change. Anyways,
I've seen it's gotten really bad in the last 10 years.
I think it's, well, I don't want to say the country's involved, but I think we know. Like the country I lived in and all these other countries where they have certain agendas and they want people to believe certain things. And
yeah,
most of the internet, I think, is just bots and
yeah, that wouldn't surprise
pushing
me.
different
Yeah.
agendas, and that's just my theory. And they hacked our openness. That's the one thing that we have that they don't, is that everything's open, but
Yeah.
there it's like a closed off internet, right? So it's they took our goodness and used it against us. That's what I think. Yeah. So
I can
that's
see that, yeah.
and because you feel that's the biggest change that I feel is like I was raised with a lot of good people, and I felt that I think they feel like betrayed from that, and that's the biggest betrayal in our culture. It's like, oh, we used to be good, and now it's not anymore, or at least it doesn't feel that way. And I
Yeah.
think that feeling is like what people can connect to, how they relate to the world, right? It's that overarching feeling about what life is, and I think it's just been pushed to the negative, just a little
It's true.
bit.
It's true. I do. And you think about like people have these like insane beliefs, or they see a meme and they repost it. Like I keep seeing one. It's usually around like Remembrance Day. It'll show like the soldiers storming the beaches, you know, and it's like, this is what men used to be like, and this is what men are now, and it's some guy like gardening or something. It's like, oh my god, what a piece of shit that guy is. Meanwhile, it's like in real life, the military is all young people still. So it's just like what you're saying is completely not true.
Yeah.
Because all of the young people still fight in your bullshit wars. But anyways, yeah.
But instead of remembering those like sacrifices, they have to make it political.
It's true,
And like
yeah.
compare it to like men now. Like, can we just appreciate what they went through for us to be here, right?
Yeah.
But that's,
No, it has to be.
has to be, yeah.
And the people posting this stuff and preaching this stuff, they're not at war.
Yeah.
What the fuck are they doing?
They
They're-
didn't fight either.
Yeah, they're
Maybe
not-
their grandfather did,
Yeah.
you know?
They're in
not
their
doing
troll
shit.
farm in
Yeah.
Beijing.
They're sitting
and-
behind their laptop and typing their shit. Like, it's all it. everything online is bullshit.
It is.
It's all bullshit
Yeah.
except for cat videos.
Yeah.
Those are super real.
Cat videos are real and worth every second I watch them.
We need to bring back Hot or Not, like a
We
simple
shouldn't bring
website.
hot or not should not be a thing. If any for any of our listeners who don't know
We
what,
started that.
we didn't start it.
We started pre-Tinder.
There used to be a website called Hot or Not
We would
where
go.
people would post pictures of themselves and you could rate them 1 to 10, hot or not, and you'd rate them and then you'd see.
I
what
thought
the
it was
overall
just. I
score-
thought it was just hot or not.
no, it was like out of
1
10.
to 10.
And then you could see your rating. It was like, oh, this person's 6.8 hot. That's probably why the internet's such shit is because of us for doing this. We didn't start the website. It was just a website that was out.
But we would meet up before school.
Yeah, Jordan and I would meet
in
before
the
school.
library.
Or hey Kevin, put on this sombrero and let's take a picture of you. Put it on hot or not. Yeah.
Yeah, you could post pictures of anybody. There was no security.
Yeah.
I could just post a picture of you guys and be like, hot or not, and then make fun of you guys for.
Yeah.
This is why everything is bullshit. It's because of us. We started it all.
Yeah,
It's true.
Our
that's
generation.
the blame. We are the reason for Andrew Tate. Yeah. So I think that was a good episode.
Well, we're at 41. We'll talk a bit more if you have anything else you want to cover, especially about adolescence, maybe. Oh,
Adolescence, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I guess
maybe
we
we
do final
can-
thoughts on adolescence and the message it gave, I guess. I think it's important. Okay, I think it's an important message. Like, I think it's good for parents to watch mainly
Yeah.
because I think it might get lost on kids.
I think it's good for everybody to watch. It's like the idea that, like, for one, it's kind of like the way, because unfortunately, in a lot of ways, you do become your parents. You get a lot of traits from your parents. You can't, it's like you grow up with it. I don't know, somehow it becomes a part of you. I do things my dad did that drives me fucking crazy, and I do it. Like, he'll talk to himself out loud, and I do it now, and I'm like, oh my God, I hate it so much, but I, like, can't stop it.
Yeah.
And, you know, so it's kind of like if you have a crazy temper, like, you got to go to therapy. You got to try to get that under control because your kids will pick it up. And yeah.
Yeah, well, the Godfather masculine arc is a typical one where
I totally know what that is.
you
What?
learn, growing up, you learn from your parents.
Yeah.
And at a certain point during you're a teenager, you start rebelling against them and you want to start becoming the opposite of everything. So you're running away from them. But at a certain point, you got to become, it just naturally takes that form.
Yeah.
It's either that or you feel like you don't have those values to get through life.
Yeah.
So I see that for me. I mean, I tried as much as I could to not become my dad, but as I am getting older, I'm getting closer to him.
Yeah.
Understanding him, like, because I don't think growing up we see them as humans in some way, right? We don't see their struggles
Yeah.
and
You
like
don't. Yeah.
that they were just doing their best. We just see from our short perspective, right? And we don't get to see what came before then, what shaped them, right? Until we get older. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And like the dad in the end, he's like wished he could have done more and all that.
yeah,
It's kind of like, well, in the end, it's like you should have been there for him emotionally. You know, like your wife and daughter are there for you.
yeah. But I think that's a huge shifting point in generations. Like our parents to us is a huge shift in the way that we communicate with kids and communicate with each other, right? Just in that more open way. I think maybe the first time in human history we're like that, right? Like,
I think that's an totally individual thing. Because I talk to my kids about their emotions, but my parents did talk to me about my emotions.
but that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yo, I
Yeah.
thought you were trying to say, like, we got it from our parents. Like, well, I didn't get shit.
We're like the generation where
I'm
that
kidding.
shifts, right?
So
yeah.
I thought though in the adolescence thing, I think it was more. So like my favorite episode was episode 3. My favorite line was at the end when he goes, "How did we make her?" Because they're talking about their
Yeah.
daughter who's
Yeah.
normal, and she said the same way we made him. So they didn't do anything different between the daughter and the son. It was how because they talk about the masculinity. There was something they called it in it. I forgot the name of it. But they're talking about the masculinity, how he was ashamed of his son almost for being bad at soccer, or
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and he wouldn't look at him even when he said at the beginning, when it's like he watched the video and his son's crying and he puts his hand on his dad's shoulder and he pulls away. He can't look at him because he's feeling like his dad's ashamed.
Yeah.
But he didn't do anything different with the daughter, so why did the daughter turn out different? Why did the daughter turn out normal? So I don't think, like, in the show, I know they didn't, I think they were good parents. I don't think they did anything wrong, necessarily, because one child's okay. It was how the relationship with the father and the son kind of differed, and how the son perceived it and stuff. That's how I took it, anyway.
No, I could see. Yeah.
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 I think the kind of the big takeaway from our generation is just not being enough. I think that's a huge kind
That's
of
a huge thing. Well, and this goes back to online. Everything online is perfect.
right.
Look at this perfect life. Look at this
Exactly.
perfect.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm not. Look at this guy with a six-pack abs. Look at all the girls he's getting.
Yeah.
I don't have that. I'm
Yeah.
not perfect.
They all have 6 packs and they're all rich and they all have these hot wives and it's like, you need to be this. It's like, well, good fucking luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that not enoughness, I think, was, part of Jamie's psychology, right? Yeah. And I think that's what our generation feels, I think, is like a dominant feeling. Just not being enough for your parents, for the people in your life, whatever. But then what is your motivation to get better then if you don't have that? Maybe that's like something necessary, or a necessary evil to, I don't know, prove people wrong, or have a certain drive or something. I don't know what the replacement of that is. Like,
It'd be cool if we could ever get like one of our dads on and ask, like, what was the pressure you felt? I mean, obviously it's a totally different thing because theirs was so much about chasing
Survival.
money and like being successful. I don't think they had that pressure to have a 6-pack, that kind of a thing.
yeah.
No, like I know from my dad example. Like, for example, he worked 3 or 4 jobs, right? Like, it wasn't about, oh, look at how much money I can make. It's like, how can I make my family comfortable?
Yeah.
That was the pressure he felt.
Yeah. It's
And,
more
like,
survival.
It was about survival, right?
Yeah.
And like my dad's upbringing is a whole nother horrible story, really. And just like how you could see how that affected him even as an adult, and how it kind of passed on to me and stuff. Like, so you see it.
yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy how different. It's weird how we get a lot of the stuff from our parents, but our parents went through such a different
Yeah.
Yeah.
upbringing.
It's like our problem is, I didn't get a Lego when I was 5. And then my dad's problem is, I didn't get food at 5. And then my grandparents' problem is, I didn't have shoes at 5.
Yeah, my
So it's
grandparents were like,
it gets better. Yeah.
My grandma was like, I hid in a cave while there was bombs dropping, and I'm like, all right.
Yeah. But Grandma, have you heard of Andrew Tate? I gotta keep him away from George somehow. That's what I'm worried about.
Hustlers University is perfect for it.
Yeah.
HU. Yeah. So,
yeah.
that was fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.